So after completion of the third ventricle, let's start, that is the fourth ventricle. So here you can see that is the fourth ventricle, this pink cavity. So the cavity of the hindbrain, it is called the fourth ventricle, and it is a tent-shaped space situated between the pons and the upper part of the medulla oblongata in front. This is the pons and this is the upper part of the medulla oblongata, which is present into that the front, and into the dorsal side there is presence that the cerebellum, this one. So it has the lateral boundaries, floor, roof and the cavity. So in the another diagram we can see. So this one. So here you can see that is the ventricular system. This is the lateral ventricle, third ventricle, cerebral aqueduct, and this is the fourth ventricle. So let's see that is the boundaries of the fourth ventricle. So here in this diagram you can see that is the fourth ventricle. So it has lateral boundaries. So these two are the lateral boundaries. Then the floor, that is the lower part, it is the floor, roof, and this is the cavity. So let's see that is the lateral boundaries. These two are the lateral boundaries. So on each side of the fourth ventricle it is bounded by a gracile and the cunate tubercles and inferior cerebellar peduncle. So here you can see that is the inferior cerebellar peduncle, both side. Okay? And that is the nucleus of Gracious. So here you can see that is the gracile nucleus and the cunate nucleus. So this one. Okay. Then the superolaterally it is founded by the superior cerebellar peduncle. So here superolaterally. So this one. So it should be forming that is the superior cerebellar peduncle, this one. So laterally it should be formed that is the inferior cerebellar peduncle, so this one, and with that is the inferior cerebellar peduncle, that is the gracile and the cunate tubercle. So this is the gracile and the cunate tubercle. So medially that is the gracile and laterally that is the cunate tubercle. Then upper side that is the superior cerebellar peduncle. So it should be forming that is the lateral wall. Then that is the floor. So floor, that is also called the rhomboid fossa because it is the rhomboid in shape, and posterior surface of the lower part it forming that the pons, and the dorsal surface open into the upper part of the medulla oblongata. So that should be forming. So this is the floor and it should be forming by the upper triangular part. So this one, that should be formed by the dorsal surface of the pons, and the lower triangular part it is formed by the dorsal surface of the medulla oblongata. Then the intermediate part, so this one, at the junction of the pons and medulla, that should be formed or prolonged laterally to form the inferior cerebellar peduncle. So this one, this total side, brown color part, it should be prolonged to form the inferior cerebellar peduncle. Then the roof, means that is the upper part. So that is the roof of the ventricle, it is the diamond shape. So here you can see that is the diamond shape, which is divided into that the superior and the inferior part. So the superior part or the cranial part of the roof, it is formed by the superior peduncles and the superior medullary velum. So here you can see that is the superior cerebellar peduncle. So this upper gray color part, that is the superior cerebellar peduncle, and middle part, that is the superior medullary velum. and the caudal or the inferior part, so this one. So the caudal or the inferior part, it is most of extent consist of the extending thin sheet entirely devoid of the nervous tissue, and it is formed by the ventricular ependyma. So here in this diagram you can see that is this red color part, it is called the ventricular ependyma, and the pie matter of the tela cordia of the fourth ventricle. So this one red color part, that is called the ependyma and the tela cordia of the fourth ventricle. Then cordially this continuous sheet is broken. So here you can see that on the inferior side this sheet of, that is the tela cordia and the ependyma, it should be broken and forming a gap called the median aperture, through which, that is the cavity, it communicates freely with the subarachnoid space in the region of the cerebellomedullary cisterna. Next to it, that is the tela cordia of the fourth ventricle. So this one, so it is the double layer of the pie matter which occupies a interval between the cerebellum and the lower part of the ventricle, and its posterior layer provide the covering of the pie matter to that the inferior vermis, and that consists of the choroid plexus, which is help for the secreting of the CSF. Then the communication of that the fourth ventricle. The cavity of the fourth ventricle communicates inferiorly with the central canal and superiorly with the cerebral aqueduct. So in the another diagram we can see, in this diagram you can see that is the fourth ventricle, superiorly it is connected with the cerebral aqueduct and inferiorly it is connected with that the central canal. Then the opening of the roof of the fourth ventricle. So in the caudal part of the roof of the fourth ventricle, there are the three openings are present. So here this one and these two. So that is the median aperture of the fourth ventricle. It is also known as the foramen of the Magendie. Okay? And it is situated caudal to that the nodule. So here you can see that is present below or lower side of the nodule, and the opening provides the principal communication between the ventricular system and the subarachnoid space. Then the two lateral ventricle, that is also called the foramen of the Lashka, that are situated at the end of the lateral recess and partly occupied by the choroid plexus, which also protrude into that the subarachnoid space. So that is the three foramens are present. Then the recess of the fourth ventricle. So here in this diagram you can see that is the CSF circulation, and here centrally that is the foramen of Magendie is present, and both lateral side that is the foramen of Lashka is present. So throughout that the ventricular system from the fourth ventricle, that is the fluid, CSF fluid, which is enters into that the subarachnoid space throughout that the three foramen. That is the one central foramen, that is called the foramen of Magendie, and the two lateral foramen, that is called the foramen of Lashka. After then let's see that is the recess of the fourth ventricle. So here you can see there are the extensions of main cavity of the ventricle. There are the 5 recesses have been described. So the two lateral recesses, so this one. So here you can see centrally the median aperture, and lateral side that is the two lateral aperture are present. So just medial to that the lateral aperture, that is the two lateral recesses are present. Second one, that is the one race present on the median plane. So here, so it is known as the median dorsal recess. Then The third one, that is the two lateral dorsal races are present. So this one, which is present one on each side of the median dorsal races. Then the clinical application related with that the fourth ventricle. So here that is the fourth ventricle. So the vital centers, so the clinical points related with that the fourth ventricle. So this one, the vital centers are situated in the vicinity of the vagal triangle, and injury to this area therefore would be cause a fatal. Second one, that is the intratentorial brain tumors block the foramen of the Luschka and the foramen of the Magenti, through which, that is the subarachnoid region, that is the CSF, it should be circulated. So in this region, that is the foramen Luschka and Magenti, that should be blocked at it is situated in the roof, which is situated in the roof of the fourth ventricle, and this result in marked early rise of the intracranial pressure, which causes the headache, vomiting and the papilloedema, etc. So these are the clinical points related with the fourth ventricle. Next to the fourth ventricle, let's see, that is the corpus callosum. So this one. So the corpus callosum, it is the largest commissure or the fiber of the brain. It connects the two cerebral hemisphere. The length of that is the corpus callosum, that is near about the 10 centimeter long. Then corpus callosum connects all the parts of cerebral cortex of the two sides except the lower and anterior part of the temporal lobe, which are connected by the anterior commissure. Then the parts of the corpus callosum. First, that is the genu. So this one. So genu, the anterior end, it is the anterior end of the corpus callosum and located 4 centimeter to the frontal pole. It is related anteriorly to the anterior cerebral arteries and posteriorly the anterior horn of the lateral ventricle. Then rostrum, this one. So the rostrum, it is directed downwards, backwards and end by joining the lamina terminalis in front of the anterior commissure. It is related superiorly to the anterior horn of the lateral ventricle. Then the trunk, this one, or the body of the corpus callosum. So it is the middle part present between, that is the genu and the splenium of the corpus callosum. Superior surface, it is convex and it is related to the anterior cerebral arteries. Then the lower border, this one, that is related with the falx cerebri. So this one. Then the inferior surface, so this one. So inferior surface, it is concave and goes before backwards. It provides attachment to that the septum pellucidum, this one. Then the splenium, that is the posterior part, so this one. So splenium, it is the posterior end forming the thickest part of the corpus callosum, and it lies 6 centimeter in front of the occipital pole. Its inferior surface related with the tela cordia of the third ventricle and pulvinar pineal body and the tectum of the midbrain. Then the superior surface, it is related with the inferior sagittal sinus and the falx cerebri. Posteriorly, it is related with the great cerebral vein and the straight sinus and the tentorium cerebelli. Then the fibers of the corpus callosum. So let's see the another diagram. So this one. So the rostrum, that one. The rostrum connects the orbital surface of the two frontal pole. So this one. Then second one, that is the forceps minor. So this one. So it is made up of the fibers of the genu and that connects the two frontal lobe. So this one. Then the forceps major, so posteriorly. So it is made up of the fiber of the splenium connecting the two occipital lobe. And last one, that is the tapectum. So tapectum, it is formed by the some fibers of the trunk or the body and the splenium of the corpus callosum. So in the another diagram you can see this one. So that is the tapectum. So it forms the roof of the roof and the lateral wall of posterior horn and the lateral wall of the inferior horn of the lateral ventricle. Then the functions of the corpus callosum. So it coordinates the activities of the cerebral hemisphere. And the second function which is done by, that is the different part of the corpus callosum, that it largely responsible for the interhemispheric transfer of the information which is essential for bilateral responses and the learning process. So that is the second function which is done or the performed by the corpus callosum.